You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show on the Riptide Media Network.
Good morning, everybody. Well, they said it wasn't possible. I said it wasn't possible about 2.5 hours ago. But thanks to Angel Martinez, the magic, the Wonder Boy from Tampa has done it again and somehow got us on the air. Better late than never. Better late than never. We had some technical issues, mostly on my end. My laptop decided to give me the bird this morning. And besides smashing the thing, and I was going to go outside to my back pond over here in Fort Myers and skim it across the pond like a rock. But I said, you know what? Angel's here. I'll count to 10 or 100,000. And somehow, some way, we got it. I will welcome everybody to the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Friday. It is the first day of summer, is it not? It is the first day of summer, June 21st. How's everybody doing this morning here on the Riptide Media Network? Check us out on the video platform on Twitter X, on Facebook and Broad Street South, and YouTube pages, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and Sports Radio 102.9. Doing it today from the Isola della Cucina here in Fort Myers. The phone number is 727-858-6650. Big show lined up for you today. Greg Murphy, one of my favorite people of all time. He's a great comedian. He's professional comedian. He's on some big cruise ship right now performing. He's going to join us via video at 8:30 this morning. Mick Colagio at 9:05. We'll talk some Stanley Cup playoff hockey with him. And Mike Petraglia, another one of my favorites, at 9:30 from Cincinnati. He is tied in the Red Sox and Reds. Open up a big series tonight, and also get his thoughts. He covers the Cincinnati Bengals as well as the NFL. With that, we say good morning to the one and only Angel Martinez, and we get to see if everybody can hear him. Because I don't know how he did it. We went through about 5 different setups. I had to restore my laptop today to what it was 3 days for whatever reason, and that took about 40 minutes to do right out of the gate. But Angel, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Pete. I am well. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Of course, you guys are going to see me in some weird angle because I have my laptop. Although I could have set up my webcam one, but that's okay. Everybody, at least they can hopefully hear and, if anything, see you. And, well, it's Friday. First day of summer.
Peanut Gallery, are we hearing Angel?
We'll find out.
We don't know.
Because they should, on the video.
I hope they're hearing me.
My profile. Well, yeah, they'll be able to hear you. Because now we were.
Oh, you'd use the same background as me on your.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to give away the secret palace that we're at.
That's fine.
Well, no, we also have that secret door to get.
Yeah. Oh, you can hear us both?
Yeah.
We're getting the thumbs up from the Peanut Gallery from the Obstructive View.
101.
Rick says, good to go. Big time. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, this is great. And this is as clear as I think we've sounded in a long time. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. So thank you, Angel Martinez. Better late than never. Shorter show today. We'll still be on till 10 a.m. this morning. And there's a lot to talk about. As I said, Greg Murphy, great comedian. Wait till you hear some of the impressions he does. He does a great Terry Francona. And, not only was a great Red Sox manager, he managed the Phillies, back in the day as well. He does a ton of great impersonations. As I said, Mick Colagio at 9:05. We'll talk some Stanley Cup playoff hockey at 9:30. Mike Petraglia will join us as well from Cincinnati. So that being said, some of the headlines, in case you're wondering, finally it happened yesterday. The Lakers made it official, and J.J. Redick gets not a 6-year deal that was offered to Dan Hurley. He gets a 4-year deal. Good freaking luck with that, J.J. Redick, a guy who's never coached before. I mean, obviously has a keen basketball mind. But my God, you've never coached in college. You've never coached in the pros. And now you're going to go with Rob Pelinka, the GM, and owner Jeannie Buss. Met with him over the weekend, and he is ready to ink that deal 4 years. Can't find out how much it's going to be, but obviously, he was at the forefront, then he wasn't. It was Hurley. It was Redick. Hurley, Redick. It was like Balboa Creed. And finally, it ended up being J.J. Redick. It's what most of us thought all along, because until the Hurley, I thought the Hurley offer was going to be a lot more serious. As I said, at least 10 years and well over $100 million. Obviously, they weren't that serious about it. What's one way you could go. The other way is that Dan Hurley's agent threw those numbers out there, the 6 years, and to get a better deal at UConn. But nevertheless, he goes into a really, really interesting situation with his pal, LeBron James, who's been doing a podcast with, and everybody's wondering what's going to happen with AD. This is going to be, to me, and you look at the Lakers as they're currently constituted. What are they, the ninth best team in the West when you really look at it logically? Eighth or ninth best team in the West. What and it's going to be a crazy, crazy situation for him over there. So, that being said, I do want to get Adrian Wojnarowski's take on this about the Lakers hiring him. This is yesterday afternoon on NBA Today. Is that not coming through? You can't hear Adrian Woj. You can't hear Woj. Peanut Gallery says it's not coming through. But that's no. Yeah, it's not coming through the video platform. It's not coming through the video platform, so we'll try to correct that.
Oh, you know what?
Hold on. Stand by. Angel Martinez working his magic again.
Let me mute my mic so I can get feedback.
It really is amazing. Again, thanks everybody for bearing with us here as we try to get through some of these technical issues. All right, I'm going where? Here?
Yeah. Sounds
Yep. On the fly.
That's what we do.
Yep.
Okay, go down. All right, go down.
Yep.
More sound settings.
More sound settings.
This
Processing.
Oh no! All right, forget that one. Hit OK. Volume mixer.
All right. We're trying.
Go down.
Yes.
All right, Google Chrome.
Yep.
Output device.
Yep.
Headphones.
Headphones or speaker?
Headphones.
Okay.
Input. Microphone.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
And then we'll give it another shot. It should come through now.
All right. Wojnarowski talks about the Lakers hiring J.J. Redick yesterday on NBA Live. Nope.
Yeah, I want to see if it comes through the app. Give me a second.
No, it's not coming through.
I'm trying to see if it came through the app.
It's not coming through?
Hang on, because I'm trying to see. It takes about 2 minutes to catch up on the app. So I'm trying to see the.
Yeah, because it's not on the video platform. No. All right. All right. Let's. Why don't we take a quick break because Greg Murphy's going to join us.
Okay.
Hopefully via video. So let's do that. It is a Pete Sheppard show. We're working through some of these issues. We're gonna get there. Greg Murphy, great comedian, coming up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show, right here on the Riptide Media Network.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
All right, back here. It's the first day of summer here on the Pete Sheppard Show. We're just getting things going after about an hour and 15-minute delay due to technical issues, mostly on my laptop. 727-858-6650 is the number, and across the video platform, tons of places. But I want to welcome, I can't see him, but Greg Murphy, are you there? I can't hear him.
No.
And I can't see him.
I see the
I see Greg. I see something, but I don't.
I see the mic moving back and forth, but I don't see.
It's not moving back and forth on my end, and I can't see him.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
I can't hear him. Maybe, Greg, if you can hear us, try to reconnect. He says, I can hear you and see you. Why can't we? Okay.
All right, hold on.
I can't.
Let me do the magic word.
Okay, hang on. The magic hands of Angel Martinez.
Let's see.
Do. Trying to connect with Greg Murphy. One of the great comedians out there.
You wanted to refresh it as soon as it's almost done.
Oh, I see you.
And I see a black screen with Greg, but
Yep.
let's see if it zooms on.
I don't know. Should you try and reconnect? I don't. Is it anything on my end? Do I need to refresh or anything?
No, unless Greg may have to refresh.
Greg, you might have to refresh.
Or worst case scenario.
There he is. You just exit out. Okay.
We'll refresh, see if you can come back in, and then if not, we'll just worst case scenario.
Well, this is one hell of a show today. I mean, it's a miracle around the year, and I know it's a little discombobulated, but we're doing it.
We're doing the best we can.
We're doing what we can here. And I don't care that Angel Martinez's camera probably has a low FPS. Who cares about that? As long as we can hear the guests and they can hear us, that is the most important thing. Here's Greg trying to come back on. And
if not worst case scenario, we can just have him call in.
Greg, once again, I cannot see and hear you at all. But you can see and hear us. You have to text me because I can't. Obviously, I'm here. I hear him like an idiot talking to you, and may have to call in at 727-858-6650. I'll text him that number.
Yeah, he just exited out his camera, so give him a second.
Try once again. Try.
Here he is. This might be him.
Oh, that's not. Okay. Is that on the phone? Is that on the? Oh, all right, Greg, you there?
Give me a second. Let me switch it.
Hang on. Now I can hear you. There you are. I have no video, but we do have audio. How are you? Yeah. So what ship are you on, and where are you? What part of the? I'm assuming the Atlantic that you're in right now. Okay. Alrighty, hang on a second. We're trying to get confirmation that you're being heard, and I can hear you. Now we're trying to get confirmation if you're being heard on the video app or the regular app. Yeah, hang on. We're checking on some of the. God damn it.
Yeah.
Is it coming on the 102.9 sports radio app? No. So I'm sitting here talking to myself. I can hear now. This is so weird. It's been such a fucked up day, Greg. You have no idea. It started when I woke up this way. I don't want to have you do any material or anything yet because no one's going to hear it except me, which I enjoy very much. Let me see if we can. So where are you headed to? Oh, nice. Yeah, we just got off a cruise. Go ahead. Oh yeah. I've been on a few. Yes, we had a really nice time. Went to the Bahamas and the Key West. All right, we're still nothing. Peanut gallery, nothing.
No,
nothing.
Not coming across the app either.
Not coming across the app either.
No.
Oh,
Unless,
good Lord.
hold on. Let me see if I put it on speaker. Let's try doing.
Hang on, Angel Martinez is.
Did he hang up?
No. You there, Greg?
No. Hold on. Hang on.
He gone.
You know,
He's
now he's got a busy
gone.
signal. He was on it, all of a sudden just dumped off. I tried to call, here it comes. All right. And we'll see how it happens on speaker. Greg, are you there?
You there, Greg?
I'm here again.
Yeah. Why isn't it coming through the board?
I'm going to try the next one.
Okay. Greg, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I can't. All I hear is I don't know. Hang on a second. There you go. Now you there? There you go. Okay, I hear you. Clearer this time. Now let's see if it's
It's probably going to go through.
if it's coming through. No.
It dumped. That wasn't me.
That was.
That's I guess where he's at. It dumped because it wasn't me.
Hope it wasn't a Poseidon moment.
No. He said they were in the middle of the ocean, so it's going to be kind of tough.
Are people hearing us over the video platform at all? Right? We come. Yeah, you and I are coming over the video platform, but we just can't.
I think, unfortunately, because the way we had to temporarily break things up, we didn't get it. It's hang on. There's they play multiple tasks here. Hang on.
This is unbelievable.
All right.
Can we drink yet?
That's too early to date, Greg.
Holy shit. Greg. All of a sudden you cut off. I didn't want to have a Poseidon moment. That's the way this day's going on my end. Anyway, so you cannot root for an iceberg. Oh shit. All right. We can't hear Greg. No. I can hear him fine. You still there? Yeah, I can. What time is your first performance tonight? Do you do like a 7 and a 9:15, that type of thing? Maybe we'll have you get on by then. Oh, this is so frustrating because we've been kicking ass with this thing. I've been wanting to have you on and everything. So you're doing this stuff. You've been doing the cruise. You've been doing the cruise. Yeah, you've been doing the cruise comedy stuff like full time for a while now, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. All right, let's see. Oh my God! Wow, did you go to that? I just saw. I was watching an old Anthony Bourdain, God rest his soul, of him just being in South Africa and what it was like. Did you get to go off the ship and go to Johannesburg and stuff? Yep. Wow. Yeah. Oh. Wow. Big, nice beaches there too, right? Even though there's a lot of great whites out there, but still. Yeah. I know. Oh, God. All right. Let's see if we can. Any chance we can reconnect? Yeah. You know what? Can we do this on Monday morning at 8:30 the same time? And we should be squared away by then. You have to. No, this has nothing to do with you. This is on our end because I can hear you fine. This has nothing to do with you. You're coming in loud and clear. It's just we've had to do some jury rigging today, big time, and it should be different on Monday. So we're probably just going to end the show today anyway. Okay. All right, buddy. Thanks so much, and safe travels. All the best. Okay, we'll talk to you Monday. Okay, bye-bye. All right, Angel, we're not going to go through this for another hour and a half, so why don't we just call it a day here?
Just for kicks, do me a favor.
Yeah.
I exit out the studio myself.
Yep.
just for kicks.
Yep.
Since we have Section 101 with us today, see if just play an audio clip, just me exiting out. I just want to see something. Because if not,
Want me to exit out?
No.
Oh.
I exit out. Just play like a random audio clip.
Okay.
I just want to see something.
Okay. Here's again. We'll try Woj again.
Yep. All right. Now I can hear him. We'll wait for the audio to catch up. Because I exit out. Just
Yeah. Peanut gallery. Can you hear? Can you just hear me? You don't hear the cut I'm playing?
No, I don't hear. I just hear.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Peanut gallery says can't hear Woj, but you can hear me. So this is see now I know what Samuel L. Jackson went through in Jurassic Park. I hate this hacker crap. Hold on to your butts.
Because everything, something must have went awry with whatever happened with the laptop. Because you got to figure that the soundboard is coming through into your end now. Everything that normally is done at the home production studio should have been the same exact way for you, but for whatever odd reason, and we were hearing it beforehand. The only problem is that if we can revert back to the way it was originally. The only thing that would be is obviously then you would hear yourself.
Yeah, which is not going to happen. So and I apologize, everybody. We're gonna call it a day here, and we will reset and regroup. And I'm pretty sure that we'll be back and ready to go because we're going to be doing the show from the very near future. I am from here. Angel's actually at my house today because he was down with some family in Fort Myers, not too far from where I live. So he is here, but she'll be back in Tampa on Monday, and then we'll do a full show then. The guest, I'll just reschedule everybody for Monday. That should not be a problem. And then you're back on Martinez Company, 10 a.m. until noon, and then middays with Q from noon to 1 p.m., right, with Rich Quinones. And that's starting back on Monday?
Yeah, so Martinez Company will be back on Monday, barring something else to go absolutely bananas. But you figure Martinez Company should be back on Monday, along with Q will be back on Monday. And he's on an extended hour, so he'll be, instead of 12 to 1, it'll be 12 to 2.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember you telling me that. Okay.
Yeah, so he 12 to 2 starting Monday.
All right. Rick says, hey, Pete, this is entertaining. Shit happens. Good morning, Hermano says the penguin is Spalding. Spalding, get your foot out the boat. Just for kicks and giggles, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. But just, I had a lot of stuff. Could I sit here and babble for another hour and 10 minutes? I probably could, but without playing any sound. I had previously. If you guys can't hear anything through the board, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me.
Yeah,
what?
We can hear you guys.
Well, you can because you're working over there.
I think you should banter about how wonderful your wives are.
Here we go.
Banter how wonderful our wives are.
That would work. Well, you got to figure it if I don't know why. Because you figured, well, we knew that obviously Greg was on the ship, so it was kind of hard for the video to come in.
Well, I don't think that was a problem. I don't think that was it though, because the fact that he's not even coming over. Well, he said he's going to be on land on Monday, so it may be easier to get a hold of him.
Yeah,
but why the audio wasn't coming through the board is I still don't know.
Yeah, it should be.
Because I could hear him fine. We could hear him.
Yeah.
He just wasn't coming over the video or the app, which is weird because usually it's the opposite.
Yeah, because the only other I gotta think, because if I were to exit out, if the only thing would be like there, we would always have to switch seats. So either I would have to come in as a guest and you would just run stuff all by yourself. One or two.
Well, I mean, he's talking about going in and out of breaks and all that stuff. I can do that, but I mean.
Because it might be, because if that's the case, then the process of elimination would end up being when it comes through your laptop.
But we still can't get the guest to come on, right? That's the.
No, if I switch things back, if I put a soundboard back over to my system and go that way, so basically we would have to run an elongated commercial and or stop the broadcast, fire it right back up after I switch everything over.
Okay, I have now a combination fucking popsicle headache. Plus, where's my sriracha bottle? I know it's in the fridge. I'm going to get it and just keep squirting it into my face because that's where I'm at. Popsicle headaches, sriracha in the eye. How about that?
That would work.
That's the way this stays. No, you know what? Because I know what you're saying makes perfect sense, I think. And I also know the way this day is going that it's going to be messed up. It has nothing to do with you. You are amazing. It has nothing. It's just the way. It's just the way it is. That's just the way it is.
We can try that way. What's Rick saying?
Rick says, "What's going on with arena football?"
Good question.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll sit and babble here till 9 o'clock, and then we'll cut it short at 9. All right? How about that?
Listen. Right. I'll make some magic work with the Arena Football League. What ended up happening was, unfortunately, the Desert Hawks was the other team that decided to fold. So this week should have been another game against the Desert Hawks, which would have been twice for the Orlando Predators to head back to Houston. Unfortunately, they folded. It might be another team that may fold as well. Because of how the Arena Football League started the season, unfortunately, the CEO and the commissioner that was there did not do things accordingly. And I can't say any more than that other than just that. And so they were both voted out. There were interims, CEO and president that came in, and now that's on a transition of the permanent CEO and president. Jeff Fisher was the one that came in temporarily as CEO, and he went back to Nashville Cats, but he will stay on the board to help them out for the rest of the season. Come next season, everything will rebuild. The process, like everything that needs to happen, it will end up happening all over again. So that's going to be the easy part come next season. The hard part now is because a lot of teams obviously have lost a lot of funding because they haven't been able to host games. What we're hoping for, and we know that Albany will not fold, they may end up playing once again with us at home in Orlando at the down there at the Kia Center. And then the playoffs will start from there. So that's the update from the Arena Football League. I'll be having a meeting sometime this week again to get some more updates of what's going on. So as soon as I get updated, then you guys will get updated. So, but I think Pete, without losing Mick and or our next guest, I'm pretty sure if I do some Flim Flam Alexander real quick.
I already sent him. I said we're going to reschedule for Monday because we're going to sign off today in about 10 minutes at 9 o'clock. Because well, that's just the way it's going to be. I made my executive decision. That's what we're going to do. We're going to sign off at 9 o'clock, and we will reschedule. I just sent out Greg Murphy, Mick Colagio, Mike Petrali will all join us on Monday, God willing. Interesting take by Bill Simmons. Wants the Boston Celtics to draft Ronnie James to hold him hostage in a basketball sense. He says, here's my case. Everybody says this draft sucks. The Celtics are so deep. Anyone in this draft isn't going to play for them. Why not take Bronny? You basically hold him hostage because all these other teams want him, right? The Lakers, you want him? Well, we took Bronny. Give us Max Christie. How bad do you want him? I would say Bronny, the asset at 30 as a trade thing, is worth more than anyone that could get here. Here's the problem. The Celtics aren't. I understand where Bill's coming from. It's a nice little theory. The Celtics, there is no way Brad Stevens is going to entertain any of that crap.
No.
If he takes it very seriously, obviously, if there's a way to make the Celtics better, or he thinks it's going to make the Celtics better, he is not wasting, I don't care if it's pick 90,000, he is not wasting that on Bronny James.
No.
But I do like the theory from Bill Simmons. I do like that. It was 13 years ago this morning. The Bruins closed out their bar tab after winning a night of celebrating the Stanley Cup. And here it is, Angel. The bar tab was $156,679.74.
Who was that for?
The Bruins, when they won the Stanley Cup in Vancouver in 2011, a.k.a. Miss Chara over there. Let's see what they spent it on. 20 bottles of something that was $4,000. But the whole bill was $156,679.74. The tip was, I can't see it. Actually, I can. This is too funny. Wait till, because I got it magnified on my phone, because I can't see it on. So, wait till you hear that. Wait till you hear this bill. Okay, here we go.
We got a Panthers game tonight, don't we?
Yes, Florida Panthers can wrap up the Stanley Cup tonight in Edmonton. I had a lot of preview sound.
Or in Edmonton, that's right.
No, it's in Edmonton. All right, liquor, $9,683. Beer, $744. Wine, $113,654. Non-alcoholic beverages, $268. Tax, $7,460.94. Service charges, $24,869.80. So service charges, does that include tip? Or is that, because I got served because they're in a private area?
Yeah. But $24,000 for service?
The cheapest thing, somebody got 4 Heinekens. They're only $6 a piece in Vancouver.
That was it?
That was 24, but no, that was just the cheapest part. 9 8-ounce Grey Goose Magnums, $5,400. That means bottles. 1 bottle of Bacardi, $300.
Good Lord. Is that from the basement top shelf?
18 Red Bulls, sugar-free, $90. 1 kamikaze shot, $10. That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all, actually.
1 Padron Silver, $12. Like I said, the most comes from the wine. 2 bottles of Ace Magnum, 2,000. Yeah, but the total bill, $156,679.74.
Good Lord.
So the tip for that, let's figure, $34,000 or $32,000.
Right.
156 times 2, figure, 352. So that's a great tip. Imagine if you're a single server. I'm sure there's more than one, but still, you're going home with probably 16 grand in your pocket after, if you split it with one other person, one other server. Holy crap.
I don't know, they might take them out when they're on the way home. It's all mine. It could happen.
Well, they destroyed the city the next day. It was awful. That after it's really sad. In fact, ESPN did a 30 for 30 on it, which I haven't seen yet. But my buddy Michelangelo was driving through. You've heard him tell the story. Driving through that mess the following day after it was a horrible thing that happened in Vancouver. Anyway.
I know it did because we're in the age of AI on it stuff. Everyone. I can hear it.
Elaine, can you hear this? Can't hear it, but you can't hear it when I'm playing the cut.
Yeah, because it's a little bit delayed by the time it comes from us.
Is it, can you hear that? Okay, just checking to see if, whatever.
It'd be fine. He said it to Debbie a while back that it'd be nice to turn your finger into like a thumb drive. So like some of the experience you've had, like, major stuff, not the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
That you'd be able to take it and download it, but I'm pretty sure that's probably coming too because God knows that whatever else ended up happening.
Now, also in a couple hours, you will not be able to get it. If any of you are listening and are headed to downtown Boston, do not even try to go because of unless you're going to the parade. The parade is going to be today in downtown Boston. A beautiful day, I think. And
hang on,
we got.
Yeah. Jerry from Rhode Island says, he's been listening, and thanks to Jerry and Gaspon Guy and others who have been sending messages. But he says, this is still better than local shit.
Well, I just saw a thing from, like this is going on at my old radio station, WEI. Where do you rank Jason Tatum in the NBA following the Celtics championship? Who gives a shit about that? Where do you rank them? What do you got to go? Bill Russell, Larry Bird, right. Jason. What? It's just, that's the kind of stuff. I hated doing that. That's like laziness. Where does he rank? You can't compare errors like that. No. Otherwise, Russell wins it every time.
That's
every
true.
time.
Well, plus you got to think that Jason Tatum himself is not gonna, what's he going to say? He's not going to rank himself either.
No, but I'm saying, but this is their top. They're one of the top. Where do you rank Jason Tatum in the NBA following the Celtics championship? I mean, okay, in the NBA,
but even still,
he's a first team All NBA player. That means he's top 5, and there are still people out there that don't want to put him in the top 5. And people forget some of the clutch games he had. And this is one of the things that ESPN did well the other day. They forget in the 2 or 3, some of the playoff series, in elimination games, how big he was. He scored 50 against the 76ers, I think, in one game a couple of years ago. And another elimination game against Brooklyn, he scored 46, whatever it was. I mean, he has come up big in a lot of huge postseason games that people just forget. They just strictly looked at if they got to. the finals or the Eastern Conference Championship. That guy, it's the first time ever that a player has led the team in points, rebounds, and assists and didn't win the MVP of the series.
Yeah.
Hey, 1981, my man Cedric Maxwell, Larry Bird didn't win in 81, this first championship. Cedric Maxwell won it. The big quote was, "Jump on my back, boys, and I'll get you there." And again, that was a Rockets team that finished under 500.
Yippers. By the way, Penguin XZ says, okay, sound is working. Good morning, Pete and Angel. Welcome back, fellas. Nice to hear you again. That's great. Thank you, Penguin XZ. Howard Eskin. This comes in from Rick Marcus. This is, for those who are listening, this is from the Philly market. He says, Howard Eskin of Philly Sports Radio claims if Jalen Hurts doesn't perform this year, he will be Carson Wentz. Come on. Stop it. Stop it. That's not even true. Come. Howard Eskin, the king of radio there, stop. It's not even hardly. Carson Wentz that was a whole different situation.
Such a lousy take. It's such a typical Northeast take, about over the top.
Yeah, because it's not gonna. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It really doesn't. Jalen already knows what he needs to do. I don't think we're going to see the repeat of last year. I think that's kind of done. If you listen to Jalen now in his press conferences, he sounds like the way he did when he first came his first season with the Eagles. And he knows what's at stake. I'm pretty sure the same way Nick Sirianni knows what's at stake. You're not going to, I hope not, because I will be the first one to go bananas on it. But what we saw last year, that fallout, that fiasco, new coaching staff, everybody knows they're going to have to gel together. Am I going to say we're going to make the playoffs? Hang on and hit the brakes, because I'm not even saying that remotely. We're going to see what training camp looks like, maybe the first 6 weeks of the season, and then we'll come back and listen into that conversation. But as far as right now, I don't put the Eagles anywhere near playoff talk at all at this point. We've got a new set of guys are in the house, and we'll wait and see what Sirianni does. If he doesn't clean up his act from last season, I think Jeffrey Lurie will see an exit out like Chip Kelly, where he can give Chip until the very end of the season. That could be the other take, but I don't think. But to compare him to Carson Wentz,
no.
That's really dumb.
And just real quick before we get out of here, on the 81 Rockets, a team that finished 40-42. That's the regular season record, 40-42. They finished second in the Midwest. They finished sixth in the conference. That's a team that Moses Malone, that's one of the first time, and Darryl Dawkins was one of the first player that didn't go to college. That was right out of high school. Chocolate Thunder, as they used to call him.
Yeah.
Played for you guys. Darryl Dawkins, as did Moses Malone at one point as well. But Moses Malone was on this 76, on this Houston Rocket team. He was out of Petersburg High School in Virginia. So it was weird. Back then, it was very, very rare. You didn't see a lot of players come right into the NBA. And he was one of them that was off. You think about, look at this Rocket team. Mike Dunleavy was on that team. Tom Henderson, Billy Paultz on St. John's. Wow. Robert Reed. Rudy Tomjanovich was on that team. He later coached them to back-to-back championships. Bill Willoughby on that team as well. So this is a team, you think about it. How would this team be viewed today, this 1981 Rocket team, which I mention all the time because they beat the Lakers. Back then, they used to have the mini-series. Only 3 games. They beat them 2-1. The defending world champions after they beat you guys the year before. They beat the Lakers in the first round of 3. Then they beat San Antonio in 7 games. That was when the Iceman was on that team back then. And then the Kansas City Kings in 5 games in the conference finals. And they gave the Celtics a little bit of, everybody thought the Celtics wanted to sweep them. Like, how'd they get here? But they somehow won 2 games. But the Celtics won in 6. Yeah, and that one. But still, amazing. How would this team be viewed, my God, today? A 40-42 team making it all the way to the NBA Finals. I wonder how ESPN and other outlets would react. They wouldn't know what to do. Yeah. And they never referred to they'd say, they got hot in the playoffs, so it was only a best of 3 back then. But, everybody had to go through the same thing.
Sure did. That's why the format changed. We look at the TVL the same exact way. We talked about it yesterday briefly, but it's the same way. It's the best out of 3. Eventually, they know they're going to have to do the best out of 7, no matter what. But right now, it's no working for them because until they keep building the way they've been doing, especially with the Basketball Super League, then they'll get up to the best of 7. But for right now, it's the best out of 3. But they're not going to bring it up because they'll just say, well, that was a different era. Well, we all know this. But if you want to be a historian and look back at the way things were done back then, it's all completely different. Like, I want to see, by the way, speaking of championships, did he, I know the...
By the way, all Boston public schools are closed today for the parade.
Oh, for the parade.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great day to do it on Friday. See, that's what you do. You do it towards the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
To me, if you went on Tuesday, I know when the Lightning won, they were supposed to have done it on a Saturday, but because of Jeff Dinnick's son, I believe it was getting married that weekend, that's the only reason why they didn't have that Saturday. But even the fans had said they should have scheduled it for the following Saturday. Everybody would have waited a week to celebrate, but they did it on, I think it was a Tuesday, if I remember correctly. Snowed a lot of traffic, but there's not much when it comes to Tampa. Now there is, because everybody moved down here. But you got to. I wonder if they're going to take the water boats like you guys did with the Patriots.
Oh, I think the duck boats. Yeah, I don't know. The Red Sox did duck boats. The Bruins do duck boats. I can't remember. The coolest thing about the Bruins when they won is when Claude Julien was up, and all of a sudden Bill Belichick, Doc Rivers, and Terry Francona, all came up and said, "Welcome to the club," because that was so cool that day when that happened.
We're gonna go into bonus time here. Screw whatever happens, anything else. But one thing I don't think I've ever asked, because when you were mentioning not too long ago a story you were sharing with me, but the one thing I never thought about, when you guys ended up winning the Super Bowl, because you were EEI at the time. Which one?
The first one?
We'll go with the first one.
Okay, 2001, yeah.
All right, we'll go with the first one.
Sorry, you guys so many.
Don't rub it in, thank you.
No, I'm not rubbing it in.
We only have one. We're
don't shoot the messenger.
No, not at all. But when you guys came back for that one, coming back to obviously the Foxborough, going back to New England, because you have to, in a way, partially in a way, you have to take away what people love to say, like that Homer spirit, because of being a broadcaster. No matter what, you guys still have to come back, talk about what happened in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, they'll be on. Remember, we're on till 3:00 in the morning after that game, the first one, the Vinatieri kid. I mean, the whole thing, against the Rams, and it was something I'll never forget. And for me, and the whole planet was rooting for the Patriots then, because they were the big underdogs and they were coming out of nowhere, and the Rams were the big and mighty, high in power, and everything else. And I remember when we played them in the regular season, which was the last loss that put them at 5-5, and then they lose again the rest of the year. They played the Rams tough. The Rams made a couple more plays. So that game, it was only a 7-point game. It was like 27-20. But after that game, Mike Martz said, "There's nobody in this league that hits like they do," and he was right, because the next week the Rams got clobbered. Whoever they played, I can't remember who, they got clobbered. And that particular 2001 team, after 5-5, for the remaining the last 6 or 7 games, every time anybody played the Patriots, they lost the following week because they were so physically beaten up. Yeah, that's how physical. But I mean, as far as we're on the air till 3:00. Everybody's drunk and calling in and everything else, and that was. And then you go to, and then it was such a spectacular game, and it's spectacular. I mean, the way from the snowball, and then going to Pittsburgh, and Brady getting hurt in that game, the AFC Championship game, and Bledsoe coming in and doing a pretty good job overall, even though he did go 5 or 6 3-and-outs in the second half. And also tried to throw the ball away one time and ended up throwing it backwards over his head. Thank God one of the Patriot players pounced on it otherwise. But they jumped out to a huge lead in that game in Pittsburgh. But it was a magical season. The big thing was the next year, the expectations are high. They open the season at home against Pittsburgh in 2002. They blow them out, worse than they did in the AFC Championship game. They blow them out in Foxborough. They get out to a 4-0 start. People like talking crazy all of a sudden. But their defense wasn't as good, you could tell overall, as it was. Oh, there's Mick. Mick just popped in.
Hey, Mick, you know what? We're going to have Mick join the party.
Yeah, we're going to have Mick join the party.
He's going to join the party.
I sent you a text, Mick. I was going to reschedule, but you know what? What the hell?
What, Mick? Let me.
Well, let me make sure you can hear us. Mick, can you hear us?
I just got that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you.
If you need to reschedule, that's okay.
Well, can you hear and see us?
I can hear you and see you, but I'm hearing another voice, like I'm listening to 2 stations at the same time.
All right, that was it. All right, you know what, Mick? Let's reschedule for Monday. You're coming through the app. Are you coming through the video? Well, that's Angel Martinez. Let's see if you can hear him.
I'm hearing you and another. I'm hearing like I'm listening to a recording of you. Hold on a second. I need to. Okay, try again.
I mean, I can hear and see you.
Okay, I can hear and see you.
What about Angel?
Hey, man.
Yep. Hi, Angel.
Okay.
We're going back. I know Pete's going to have loaded questions here, but
No,
but we're throwing back some stories here about the Patriots. Obviously, some New England talk here, and I was saying to Pete, because at him being a broadcaster back at EEI, which we started getting into it was, and the question was, when you're coming back home and you're going, other than the night that you guys were on until 3 a.m, now you're back in New England, you're back at the station, taking away the homer feel, the first day you're coming back to broadcast to let everyone know you guys had just won your first Super Bowl championship. How could you take away the super excitement that you had inside as a fan to then doing the broadcast?
You kind of. I've always combined both. I mean, you don't go crazy. You don't go try to go over the top. Oh, the Rams sucked. Blah, blah, blah. No, but it was just there were so many great plays. It was such an unbelievable postseason, and then that was the absolute climax. And it was easier for that team because everybody on the planet was rooting for them. They weren't the evil empire that they became because, as the Kansas City Chiefs are now finding out as well. But yeah, so the first one, that's probably the easiest one. That was probably, I can tell you, I've told this to Mick before, one of the funnest times I've ever had on the radio, and it's because the studios in Foxborough for the Snowball game were not working, so I had to do the post game from Boston, and Freddie and I were just, he and I were just doing it alone back then, the Freddie Smirlos, great Freddie Smirlos post-game show. But we had 3 television stations waiting for us to go on the air. We had all sorts of red, white, and blue lays and stuff. And, it was like the producers from all the other shows that were on, there were 5 stations going on. And back then, everything was live. Everybody came into our studio. Everybody, whatever news or music, they were playing their longest songs. Everybody was just sitting, celebrating during the Snowball game with myself and Freddie. And I don't know. At one point, he picked me up and tackled me, which is tough to. And that was a lot heavier back then. But Freddie's like,
no easy chore.
No, it was not an easy chore. But at one point, I was in the bottom of a pile because we still had to wait about 10 minutes after the game to go on the post game. So that was, the whole thing was a blast. And then, so that was the easy one. But yeah, Mick, we had some major technical problems today. So this is
Well, I was at a Super Bowl party. I was working on the desk at the Standard Times in New Bedford, but we knew that the Humphreys were having a Super Bowl party, and we were all encouraged to take a break and go over their house to grab some food. And so while I was there, I saw them win it, and it was just watching that whole house full of people just go absolutely nuts. It just felt it was a strange feeling because it was so foreign to somebody who grew up rooting for the Patriots. I sold hot dogs at the old stadium when it was the new stadium.
I know.
I was in high school.
You told me that.
This was, I go back to collecting the Coca-Cola bottle caps and the promotion for the Boston Patriots in the 60s. So this for me was just so unreal.
Well, not only that, you grew up down the street from Foxborough, basically, in Walpole. And I tell people all the time, it's just hard. It's hard for people to grasp the concept that this team, because the city of Foxborough, the town of Foxborough, banned any Monday Night Football games. Now, can you imagine that today? The Patriots were not allowed on Monday Night Football because it got so sloppy, drunk idiots. The town of Foxborough told the NFL, "You are not playing Monday night." And I even remember a game against Dallas on Monday night. Back in the late 70s, that was blacked out in New England. I don't know if it was because it wasn't sold out, I forget, or they wouldn't allow it to be televised.
I don't think that would have not been sold out, even though, because the late 70s, the Patriots weren't bad.
78 they were. That 79, you're right. 78 was just debacle when, you have your coach leave right before the playoffs against Dan Pastorini and Earl Campbell because he's taking the head coaching job at Colorado. It's unbelievable. Right before the playoffs. No, I'm not going to coach. Oh,
there's a lot of things to dot your calendar with a humiliation of the Patriots situation in that era.
It might have been during the banning of Monday Night Football. They weren't allowed.
Well, wasn't there a scab era at that time too? Wasn't there like a
That was
lockout?
87. That was 87.
87, okay.
Yeah, but like 80 or 81, there was a game against Dallas where it was not shown on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And then the town of Foxborough, can you imagine the town said, no, banned. You cannot play football on Monday night in New England, in Foxborough, because your fans can't handle it.
Now, I mean, and that's before the infrastructural revolution of the Route 1 area and everything that's gone on there with the commuter rail, with the ins and outs, the exit ramps, and everything that go into, and obviously the emergence of Patriot Place was much later.
Yeah.
So it's just a different experience there, and I think that they just saw that they had to go one way or the other, and they kind of went with it. You can't stop it, so you try to swim with the tide.
Well, Mick Elagio joining us here. It wasn't expected, but we're gonna keep you on, Mick. Why not? It's Friday.
Why not?
You're not going to the parade today, are you? You're not going into that.
No, I got a long list of things to do because I'll be flying to the NHL draft on Wednesday night.
Oh, interesting. Where's it? We're in Toronto?
The Sphere.
Oh, we were just there, and it cost $1 million to get in. When we were there
that's the only way I'll ever see the inside is with an NHL lanyard hanging around my
Take some
neck.
pictures. Take some pictures and stuff. That's fantastic.
My coworker George Austin, who's like the biggest Celtics fan ever, he was at the first U2 show, and he put it on Facebook, and incredible acoustics.
I heard.
The sight lines of it are just I just have to see this thing. I'm a sucker for man-made wonders.
Yeah, you're going to get in for free. I mean, honestly, we were there. They were charging media members, I think, $200, right, Angel? I think it was $200 just to go in and see the place, not to witness any shows, just to go in and look at it.
Yeah,
that was the tour, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's funny because Debbie, my wife now, which is great
he just got married Saturday.
Congratulations, Angel. Way to go, buddy.
Thank you, Mick. Appreciate it. But my wife, her son, they've been the Grateful Dead has their tribute band.
Yeah.
So they were saying, Mick, that if you're up in the 300 level, it's actually better when you're looking at it visually coming across the dome inside the sphere there.
Okay.
And that the audio is not as good at the 300 level, but down to the 100 level, they said that's when you can kind of capture and encapsulate all the surround sound from inside the sphere. But he said it's visually you're better off being up in the 300 because you get to see everything and you don't get that vertigo effect as much. But he did say the very first show that they saw with the Grateful Dead, and they may have seen YouTube, I'm not too sure, but they were saying you could see, depending on where you're sitting, you can get a little bit of vertigo. So the inside apparently have instructions on what to do or how to kind of refocus your eyes, so it won't throw you as much. But he showed us a video of what they saw on the inside, and it looked incredible as far as visually. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be in for a great time.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The whole thing is like this little marble. It's what is it, like 15 stories high or something, and it's a perfect sphere.
Yeah.
It's that's just what they do on the outside of this thing is nuts. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be pretty exciting.
We'll get to the Stanley Cup in a second here and your thought, but I was looking at a tweet this morning, 13 years ago this morning, Mick. And
we're all blowing right past the U2 Vertigo joke that was waiting for us, but nobody made it.
Next.
I'm looking at the Bruins bar tab after they beat the Vancouver Canucks, $156,679.74. That was 13 years ago.
I think half of that was one bottle.
Well, a couple of bottles of wine. It was 9 bottles of Grey Goose, 5,400. There was a lot of wine bottle, a lot of expensive wine. One kamikaze shot, only one for $10, but we were going through it. It's kind of funny. All right, in the short time we have, because you're a busy man. So Florida gets whacked 8-1. I equated that to the Celtics getting blown out in Game 4 by Dallas. I thought nothing of it. I thought they would come back
very
strong. I thought they would come back strong, and they came back and played better. But still, giving up Connor McDavid right now is just playing out of his mind. But now, the last two games. Now Edmonton is back home tonight, and we know that home ice advantage doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot anymore. It just doesn't. We've seen it too many times over especially the last decade. But are the Florida Panthers, do you think, at all psychologically damaged? I like to use that phrase, Mick. At all?
I think at the outset they are not. But I do think that if the situation gets tense, there could be some nerves because nobody wants to go back to Game 7 against all that momentum. And on home ice or away, you don't want to – anything can happen in Game 7. So tonight, I think that they're going to be a very focused group. They're going to go out there and really try to stay focused. And they're a great road team.
Yes, they are.
They tend to be mentally better on the road than they are at home.
33-13-5 on the road.
They bring their swagger with them. I think what the Oilers have done here, McDavid is obviously the lightning rod for all of this, is they've kind of made the Panthers play the game a little faster than they want to. The Panthers usually are the team that's swarming and roughing up the opponent, bullying them. And Edmonton, to their credit, has stood up to that better than anybody else that the Panthers have faced since the Vegas Golden Knights a year ago. So this is now that in that regard, it may become sort of a, wow, this is a little different for us. Also, they're going up against a generational great. And as such, he's finding his way to turn the series on its ear. He may not complete this, but everybody's going to remember this as the series where McDavid made himself a threat to win the Stanley Cup just because he's such a great player. Not that they don't have a good team, and also I think that the Florida feeling rushed has helped Stuart Skinner.
Mick, I can't remember. You probably know this. Has there been a winner? There's been a couple in the NBA. The last one was Jerry West to win the NBA Finals MVP on a losing team. Say the Panthers win tonight, 4-1, something like that. I would have a hard time still not voting Connor McDavid for the Conn Smythe Trophy for the MVP of the postseason, right? I mean, it may not happen that way, but man, he's got to be right up there.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how they do this anymore, but traditionally what they've done is they've selected a core group of media to cast the Conn Smythe votes. So it's not like the whole PHWA gets a vote or the normal voting part of the PHWA that votes on the season-ending trophies like MVP for regular season, the Hart Trophy, the Norris Trophy for best defenseman, etc. I'm not sure what the process is anymore, but usually it's a goalie when the losing team gets the MVP. I think Ron Hextall got it in '87. Jean-Sebastien Giguère got it in 2003 when the Ducks took the Devils to 7 games. A very Florida Panthers-like New Jersey Devils team, by the way. And so they play a game that one player doesn't necessarily shine. And it was going to be Bobrovsky until the 8-1 game. And can one game take a goalie out of the running for a trophy that he was the favorite to win? If they win the series, that's kind of I'm kind of thinking that Bob is still 50-50 with McDavid here. But yeah, I mean, McDavid is certainly Reggie Leach is the only skater in my lifetime, I think, who won it on a losing team, and that was when the Flyers got swept by the 75-76 Montreal Canadiens.
Montreal.
That was the first of their 4 straight championships to end the 70s decade.
Yeah.
But Leach scored 9.
He scored scarred by that.
The former Bruin scored 61 regular season goals and then scored 19 in the playoffs. He just torched the Bruins in the semifinal, and so he won the Conn Smythe, and it was bittersweet, obviously, for him to get that, but that was a career year for Reggie Leach, obviously. The rifle.
I was talking to. I might have been when I was on vacation. Somebody was a Bruins fan or something, and just shitting all over the Florida Panthers. And I go, why would you not? I said, this team reminds me of the way they play, the way they're coached. I just like their style. It's like, if you're a Bruins fan, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't embrace.
They're very close to
Panthers. They are very close. I don't know.
Very much like the 2011 Bruins.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yeah. And I don't know why fans have a hard time embracing. Is it because of the Sam Bennett thing? They can't get that out of their head, which I understand. But I mean, this is a hard team.
He's a huge part of it. Just like Chara was a huge part of the Bruins. You know, people hated Chara. Well, Bennett is the guy they hate with Florida. Well, Kachuk is, you know, his side saddle there. You know, he's he's what my colleague Joe Haggerty received a tweet from one of his followers. It referred to Matthew Kachuk as a cul-de-sac tough guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Florida Panthers are cul-de-sac tough guys in general. I know Bennett's not. He's for real.
Yeah. He's somebody every team would want. Bennett is somebody that every single team
oh my goodness.
would want.
I mean, it's like he's like adding he's like you're trying to clean up a mess in your yard, and all somebody drives up with a caterpillar and starts plowing down shrubs and taking everything out of there and knocking over statues. I mean, that's Bennett. I mean, he does that stuff, and what Kachuk does is largely on the shoulders of the physicality that Bennett tunnels through. I mean, he's the guy that digs the hole. He's the excavator in that line.
So how do you think this game, what do you think happens tonight? Do you think I'm thinking the Panthers are going to wrap it up tonight, but they can't allow a short-handed goal in the first 5 minutes like they've been in the last couple of games either.
All year long, I thought I was going to be seeing them wearing the ball caps. And it just made sense to me that it would be them. I will say this about the Oilers. Before the playoffs, when I started really trying to examine each team, its architecture, how it's filled out, what it's based, how they play, I started realizing that the Oilers are as formidable as anybody who could have come out of the West. And that when you really look at them, I mean, Barkov, the Beast, and Bennett have not been matched up at center until now.
Yeah. Because
you can do McDavid and Draisaitl, and if you need to, you throw the Nuge in the middle, and that, you know, but they don't have to. It's just they finally have met their match and they do it differently, obviously. I mean, Barkov is like a Lady Byng kind of player, but he's also just super strong on the puck. He's like a Jean Rattel type, and then you have Bennett, and now Draisaitl. Some people are speculating he's not 100%. We'll find something out after the series. That may or may not be true. He's not a burner anyway. He plays more like Austin Matthews, kind of a straight-up skater, but he's deadly with his stick, very much like Matthews. But really, this series is finally gotten to a point where Edmonton has the Panthers screwing up their own chances and being messy with the puck and turning it over because of the speed with which Edmonton's trying to force them to play the game. And that's their way of trying to survive. Now, the bet Florida makes on this is that if you try to play too fast, you'll give us the puck and we will score and beat you. So we got two more chances to watch this unfold, maybe just one. And all year long, this is the great thing about it. It's now a series. It's now a nail biter. It looked like it might be a sweep. Instead, it's gonna be nervous time on both sides of the puck. It's what we live for and wait for all year long and hope for a series like this. Last year's series was terrible. I blame it on the 10-day gap they made the Panthers wait to play. This year was much more equitable, and as a result, we have ourselves a most competitive situation we could have, and we went from 3-0 to 3-2. The last team I saw lose a 3-0 series was the Boston Bruins in 2010 to the Flyers.
Yeah, and they were down 3. They were up 3-0. They're up 3-0. They're up 3-0 in Game 7.
Correct.
I just got off a cruise ship and was livid listening to it on the radio.
Yeah, I went to Philly for that series and I saw the whole thing and really those games were very close. And then Mike Richards destroyed David Krejci's wrist with a mid-ice hit. And Krejci goes out of the lineup, and he gets an assist on the last goal by Miro Shatan, who was set up by Milan Lucic, which was where the puck went on that play, and the Bruins win the game. Now they're up 3-0. Game 4 comes around. Guess who's on the Black Aces for the Boston Bruins and never gets in?
Yep.
Brad Marchand.
Brad Marchand. Yep.
Imagine if he got into that lineup.
Oh.
Maybe the thing ends in 4.
Maybe, and then Tuukka
He was a
Rask
different
becomes a
player
hero.
at the end of that season than he was at the beginning.
And it's amazing how Tuukka recovered from that series, right? And then Thomas takes over, and then
Tuukka's
back at it later.
Tuukka got the start in the championship season overseas when the Bruins opened the year in Europe, and Tuukka got the start. The Bruins played crappy in front of him. He lost. They throw Tim Thomas in the next game, and he wins and never looked back.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. The shit. What did I have to ask you? Oh God.
History of the Stanley Cup?
No. Oh no. I was going to ask you. No. NHL draft coming up, since you're going to be at the Sphere in Las Vegas. So now, obviously, Hockey East has a whole bunch of people that are going to get drafted. And I know a couple of kids from BC are returning this year, right? And the kid from BU, obviously, is going to be a top pick. But
Macklin Celebrini, and that kid is really. The thing that impressed me most about him is he's 17 years old during this past hockey season, and they're playing a home-and-home with Boston College, their arch rival. And after the whistle, he's getting hit by 3 different guys trying to knock him on his ass, and he stood up to them. He didn't go down. It's like this kid is strong in his skates. This kid's going to be a great professional. I'm looking forward to watching him play in the bigs.
Where does he go? Top 5?
1.
He goes 1 overall.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen. Well, besides any other college kids coming out, you see in the top 5, or is it going to be European people?
I don't know. I'm not studying enough. I'd be faking it to make it till I make it if I start talking about that.
But certainly there's going to be a lot of kids out of Hockey East that are drafted.
I mean it's look, just the amount of draft picks when BU and BC played this past season. The amount of guys who are. I mean, Will Smith was a 4th overall.
Not that one. That one.
Right. Not the one who smashed Chris Rock in the face.
Yeah.
Not him.
It just threw you off.
Not everybody's favorite actor.
Although he was good in the Serena, he was good as Richard Williams in the Williams movie. He was very good.
That's the one I haven't watched, but
very good.
Maybe someday. I think I saw like a 20-minute excerpt of it, and it was pretty intriguing.
It was.
But I was still feeling kind of angry about Will Smith hitting Chris Rock, and just couldn't get myself to watch a Will Smith movie at that point.
Gotcha.
I've seen one. I've seen plenty in the past.
But as you said, there's a lot of and the kid from BU. Where's he from again?
Where is Macklin Celebrini from? I believe he's I want to say he's an Ontario kid.
Okay. All right. Any local, any Northeast high school kids you could see? Some of them probably have already been drafted, but I know it's different now. High school hockey's changed a little bit because juniors are taking over, right? They're taking over.
Well, as we all know, Pete, you went to a Catholic school, and what happened in the early 70s, all the public school kids went to the Catholic schools. And then I don't remember my alma mater, Walpole High School, had Mike Milbury, future NHLer. Needham High had Robbie Fatorik, future NHLer, and other guys, Caparator, obviously. Yeah. And so what happens is all these guys are playing for Mount St. Charles, Bishop Hendricken, LaSalle Academy, Catholic Memorial in Boston.
Yeah.
And then what happens is they start crying poor mouth in the 90s because the prep schools started taking all their kids and doing PG years and things like that. And now junior, it's incredible. Even if you go back to 2008, I was covering the Division III NCAA quarterfinal involving UMass Dartmouth. And their road team the team they're playing comes in to play them, and the young lady who's doing their PR comes over to me with a sheet with their players, their line chart, and says, "You see, look we're really young. We're almost all freshmen." I look at it, they're like 21 years old. They've all had 2 years of junior hockey. Some of them had played a PG year prep.
It's so different.
It's like they're all plug and play now. Division III coaches, they want a kid ready to go when they finally get him.
I told you the story. I tried out freshman year. All I did was puke up Cheerios and orange juice for 2 hours. It was we didn't touch a puck. I just was way out of my league. Didn't realize the talent level, and me playing at West Warwick House League for a number of years. Even
You know,
before
it's
that.
pretty cool, though.
Nothing.
It's
Then
awesome to be on the ice with those guys, though. You had a great experience.
And that was just for the freshman team. Forget. I mean, that was, and no freshman had ever made Henriken's varsity except my first year there, and that was when Gordy Ernst made it, who was an outstanding tennis player.
Yes, he was. I saw him take a set off of Brad Druitt at the Hall of Fame tournament in Newport.
Yeah, and then he transferred to his dad's team at Cranston East after that. But he was the only, I think he was the first freshman to ever make the varsity team. But I remember, I remember Henriken, Mount, and LaSalle, and I'm sure Catholic Memorial and other schools, they used to play the college B teams. Like, I remember Henriken, like, playing Harvard's B team or UMass Dartmouth and killing them. I mean... And Mount, same thing. I mean, they'd play all these
those guys are all going to have.
They'd play all these college B teams, Henriken, Mount, LaSalle, and they'd blow them out of the water.
The first Rhode Island high school hockey game that I ever saw was, other than playing in going with a JV team down to play Bowerville one year.
Yeah.
In the preseason was in the mid '80s, probably the '87, the state final. Bishop Henriken had David Emma, future NHLer.
Yeah. He lives about 15 minutes from me.
No kidding.
Yeah. He owns Naples.
Gaudreau, I think Omacholi.
Yeah.
And both Keith Carneys were on the Mount Blue line.
That's crazy.
One of which was in a Game 7 for the Cup with the Ducks in 03, that Jaguar thing I mentioned before. And their goalie was Garth Snow.
No, I know. I've been covering that game. They wouldn't let us do the broadcasting rights, remember? That was like my first couple of years right before.
That was before I met you guys. I didn't meet you guys till 2 seasons later.
Because that idiot who used to run the Rhode Island Interscholastic League and all that stuff.
Father Newbold?
Father Newbold, God.
One of the greatest things I ever heard in my life was the Rhode Island high school hockey did not allow body checking in the attacking zone.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because according to Father Newbold, it causes riots in the stands. Now you got a million Karens in these meat locker rinks with their Dunkin' cup and everything, ready to take the referee's head off, and we've got a crisis in officiating now because nobody wants to do it anymore because the parents are psycho.
But going back to that series, and that's just one of many where Henriken and Mount, and you're talking about 5-6 kids that ended up in the NHL. Forget Division I, there were a whole bunch of them. And I also remember my sophomore year when Brian Lott was going to be number 1 the next year. Overall pick, first American ever, got drafted by the Minnesota North Stars, and we finally beat them. To win one game anyway to tie up the series. And Bobby Brown, to this day, it's one of the most incredible goals I've ever seen at any level. I don't know how he flipped the puck from the far right goal line, just softly up in the air, right over Alan Perry, who was a great goalie, right over his shoulder on the far side, and somehow went in the net, and they won the game.
Wow! So he must have been playing. He must have taken notes on the goalie's aggression and playing, out from his crease.
No, Allen. It's not like Allen came out of the net. It just was. It was a weird kind of fluky play. May not have. All I know is I couldn't believe when the puck went in. That was with the McGee brothers back then with John.
Oh yeah, right.
There was Andy Calcione, great player. Went to Providence College. Remember, Andy was a great first team.
It was a kid who played from East Greenwich who played for the Providence Bruins when they won the championship in '99.
Yes. Yeah.
You know who I mean, right?
Yeah.
King?
Yeah.
King? Was it King?
Yes, it was King. Yeah.
King?
Yep. I remember Rob Gribben was in my class at Henriken, and he.
Oh wow, he was the E-bug.
Yes. Yeah.
The firefighter from Providence got in an AHL game.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was on my teams in West Warwick, Mick, like when I was 6-7 years old.
That might be the coldest rink I've ever been in.
Oh, please.
The neighborhood appropriately called Arctic.
Absolutely. It really was. I agree with you.
Poor Angels wonder, what are these guys talking about?
Well, he's from Philadelphia. He understands. I mean, he understands. It's funny, though. How come Philadelphia doesn't have the same type of hockey prowess that New England does? Or if they do, I just don't know.
You know what, though? They're all coming. If you see more and more, I mean, you look at a guy like John Carlson. Yeah, he went to prep school in the Boston area, but he's from New Jersey. You know, so you have a great NHL career there. You got guys from Philadelphia that – isn't Johnny Hockey from Philly?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think so.
Yeah. Plus, you got to figure, too, Mick, this is the last season coming up for the Flyers, if they do not, which I don't foresee them winning the NHL Stanley Cup next season, but their name will be scrubbed away from Lord Stanley because...
Oh, they're going to fall off? The
Yeah.
75 team will fall off? So that means they've already lost the 74 team off there.
Yeah. So,
Wow. Wow,
Dark
that means the 72 Bruins are gone by 2 years.
Oh God, yeah. But even growing up though, Mick, I hate the only team I can really honestly say I hated from the get go was the Montreal Canadiens. I never really hated the Flyers.
That's because your era. That's because of when you grew up. See, when I grew up, it was the '60s, and it was Jean Beliveau and Yvon Conway and Henri Sheppard, and except for the odd guy like John Ferguson, you felt like this was a team that you just sort of Serge Savard. I mean, the Canadians I revered as a kid. I would pull for them if the Bruins lost to them.
Really?
Yeah, I did in '71 when they played Chicago. I wanted Montreal to win because I felt like the team that I wanted the Bruins whoever beat the Bruins to be the team that goes and wins. I
got you.
The flavor completely changed when the Canadians became the Chris Nyland team with Chris Chelios and Bobby Smith, who the former North Star. And
No. How about when Steve Penny came out of nowhere? How about Steve Penny though against Mike Moffat? I mean, I wanted to puke.
It wasn't Moffat at that point, but Penny. Penny was the guy.
He was Ken Dryden, came out of nowhere. No one ever heard of him.
Well, Ken Dryden played at Cornell and was this behemoth of a goalie at a time where 6'4" was not a regular thing.
But still, he was a rookie coming in. And I mean, I agree
he was
with
a rookie like 7 years after the Bruins selected him in the supplementary amateur draft.
Steve Penny was a piece of shit, and I don't know how he stole that series against the Bruins, but somehow he did.
Well, the '85 series could have gone either way. That went right down to I think Matt Snaslin scored with like a minute and 5 left.
Do you remember? Call Fred Cusick on that shot?
Yes, I do. I do remember. It was hilarious. He called it like it was an overtime goal.
Yeah, no, but he called it like he goes. He called
and
it.
And Naslin wins it for Montreal.
It's still over a minute to go.
Which was very funny. It was painfully funny for Bruins fans who knew how the story always ends against them. So that's what made '88 so amazing.
Think about that. Our Bruins played it out to the great Fred Cusick.
The late great Fred Cusick.
And Naslin scores, and the Canadians win it. There's a minute and 5 seconds left because he knew we weren't going to win.
His inner self knew it had ended.
We could have gone 8-0 and somehow not put the puck in the net against that team back then. And then
I remember Angel. I don't know if you go back to Gene Hart.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gene Hart was picking up games during the he was moving on and doing TV. He was covering the Bruins Flyers series in '77, the one the Bruins turned the tables and swept the Flyers. The Bruins were a rapidly changing team. They had just acquired Peter McNabb and Rick Middleton. They had already done the Brad Park blockbuster with Phil Esposito. Everything had been changing for the Bruins. Jerry Cheevers was back on the team. Rick Smith was back on the team. Harry Sin was sort of putting the band back together. And so the Flyers, they played a lot of hockey, 74, 75, 76. They go to the Stanley Cup final. They come back in 77. They're a bit burnt out. And the Bruins, they were ripe to be beaten, and the Bruins took advantage. And between games 2 and 3, before game 3 in Boston, Gene Hart is getting ready in the booth, and I was early to the game in the balcony, and I made eye contact with Gene Hart and just shook my head no, and then he shook his head yes. And the reason wasn't because on the TV, his last broadcast, he said, "I predict that the winner of the Canadiens Islanders series will beat the winner of the Bruins Philadelphia series." Well, he knew which way each series was going, and he liked the Islanders more than the Bruins, and he wanted he wanted to assert that the Islanders would beat the Bruins if they had played. Well, they weren't going that series wasn't going to happen, as we all know. Montreal was a dynasty; they were a wagon, and even the Islanders, as good as they were at that point, were not going to beat them. So he made what I thought was a cheap kind of a prediction. One of those kind that you can't assail; you don't have to stand behind it. And so, so I'm yelling at him. I'm a teenager, and I'm at there. It's just because you. I think I'm a very mature 20 years old.
You don't cuss a lot, so if he calls you to cuss, you really hate him.
Well, I just you just know Montreal is going to win. I'm just getting that crap. So anyway, so that was my one conversation ever with Gene Hart.
What was the game the playoff game against the Canadians, and I think was it Lafleur that scored, and Gilles Gilbert after the puck went by him, he was square, and he just fell backwards as
Well,
if he got assassinated.
that was the game tying goal. And that was too many men in the ice power play goal that tied the game and sent it to
Gilles Gilbert was a
overtime.
great goalie, very acrobatic at the time, and when
I learned something very important through that series. I was there in Montreal in '81 and saw the Canadians play the Buffalo Sabres. And I wanted to see the Forum, and so and they had this, in the lobby of the Forum there on St. Catherine Street, they had this giant mural. And the mural, was it of any of the Stanley Cup championships that they had won, which I think at that point numbered something like 20? Mm-hmm. And no, it wasn't. It was the Yvon Lambert overtime goal that ended that series on May 10th, 1979. The bad name, May 10th for Bruins fans. Yes. The good one is May 10th, 1970. Yes. But it blew my mind. But when I saw that in the ticket lobby, I smiled actually, because I realized we were just as big a deal for them as they were for us.
Yeah, and I always wondered that I know the rivalries there, people related to Dodgers, Giants, Red Sox, Yankees, but
Red Sox, Yankees is a perfect example. When I was at the Norwich Bulletin, when we were working in Connecticut 25 years ago, there was a Yankee fan there who was very much like, well, we know that we're a big deal for you guys, but you're just another team to us. Yeah. Well, guess what? Yeah. Not anymore. Yeah. I mean, in 2004 obviously changed all that.
But I always thought, do Montreal fans hate Bruins fans as much as we hate them?
Well, it was proven that the rivalry is as meaningful on their side as it always was on ours when I saw that mural, because they could have picked from 20 different Stanley Cup championships to get an image from something in the finals. But here we are 2 years after the fact, and the image is from the goal that beats the Bruins, which wasn't even the Stanley Cup final that year. That was the semifinal. They beat the New York Rangers in the final.
Yeah.
They could have had Bob Gainey on the shoulders as being, when he won the Conn Smythe at the end of the '79 series, which was a rarity for the Canadians to win the Cup on home ice. They won the Stanley Cup a million times there, but very rarely did they win it in Montreal. That
was a hard Stanley Cup final to watch. I was 12 years old in '79 and still devastated for the 3 previous seasons with the Bruins, and all heartbreaking season-ending, playoff season-ending losses. And then I was like, I hated the Rangers too, because I hated all the New York teams. And so I was like,
well, that's who the Bruins' natural rival was. When the Bruins were at their best in the early '70s, the Rangers was the hate team, not the Canadians, not the Flyers. Not until the Flyers beat them. That was, but it was the Rangers. It was Brad Park. I had to believe that he would be in a Bruins uniform. That the rivalry politics had changed by the time Park became a Bruin. But he was a hated rival back around 69, 70, 71, 72.
And then Brad, of course, against Buffalo in '83 in the semifinals, scores one of the great Bruins overtime playoff goals ever.
His last great act as a Bruin.
Yeah, they were down 2-0 in the Game 7, and they came back and tied it. Ray Bourque, I believe, tied it, and then Park wins it. It was amazing, an amazing goal.
Yeah.
But
it was. Yeah, it was.
So, final prediction for tonight.
Oh boy, I'm only because I have to stick with what I've been saying all year long, which is this is Florida's time. It's their turn. This is their team. You win the President's Trophy, 122 points. That's not a cheap President's Trophy. That's a great season. You under any rules, and you go out and Bill Zito goes out and changes 8 players off that team, and said we're something wrong with us. We get swept in the second round by the Lightning. That was a ballsy thing to do. For lack of a better term, and he went out and changed his team, and it took a while to gel. It took a while to be healthy, and last year they made the Stanley Cup final. It all went, wheels came off at the end. Don't need to go over that. Yeah. This year, they were a great regular season team, and now they've been a great playoff team. Let's not forget who's leading the series here. So they've been dormy for 3 nights in a row, and now they get 2 more shots at this. All they got to do, Happy, just putt the, knock it in, Happy. So all they got to do is just get, push that golf ball into the cup. I think that this is a doable thing for them. I think tonight's the night that they should do it. If they let it get to 7, all bets are off.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be really amazed if we're going back to Florida here.
Alrighty. Anything else, Angel? Otherwise, we'll let Mick go, and then we're gonna end this. We turned what I thought was going to be a disaster because we had so many technical issues today for the first hour and a half. But you're safe, Mick. This was a great conversation as always. So I want some pictures when you go to the Sphere. Because I wasn't paying $200 when we were in Vegas for the Super Bowl to get in. So I will live vicariously through your pictures. Your images, your kaleidoscope of erotic images that you will send me.
And here I thought the exciting thing to see in Vegas would be the Montecito. James Caan.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what you won't see in Vegas when you go. At least not when we were there. You won't see any big time deals or buffets anymore. No. Or a lot of that stuff is gone. Everything is very expensive, including drinks. You don't see those. Unless you go to downtown, old Vegas, then you might get some deals. But
so Old Vegas still exists.
Old Vegas still exists, and that's the only place you can get deals because you couldn't get a drink under $12. And I know you don't drink a lot, but I mean, beers are.
I'm a wino. I love my bottles of my Italian reds.
Yes, and that'll cost you $10 to $15 a glass too.
Well, you're used to Florida prices because up here, that's what it costs.
Yeah. Well, we went to a happy hour yesterday, and I don't know, is it wrong to get a vodka soda for $3.99?
Well, I think if you're at the VFW, they're a lot stronger and a lot cheaper.
All right, buddy. All the best. We'll talk. When's the draft?
Okay, so Friday night is round 1, which is 7:00 Eastern, so it'll be 4 p.m. PT. And then Saturday is kind of an all-day affair. The big thing from Bruins' angle is what's going to happen with Linus Ullmark. The 2 goalies have already been moved. Yes. Markstrom already went in a deal. Kemper's already been moved in a deal. And there's been a lot of rumor that the Bruins are talking to the Ottawa Senators about Ullmark going there. I don't know who's on Ullmark's. Nobody seems to know who's on Ullmark's 15-team list. Yeah. So half the league, he's willing to go to half the league, but does half the league need a goalie, and is it the right half? So how many fits are there is the big question, and what will the Bruins' demands be? Don Sweeney, the Bruins GM, has said that he prefers to have both goalies back, and I'm thinking, what does he think? He's going to get Jeremy Swayman for $3 million? This is his big kick at the can. This is going to be 8 times 8 or something like that. Yeah. And if they're committed to go forward with Swayman, which you would think they would be, considering that that he, in every regard, has become their number 1 goalie. The fans have coronated, have anointed him. I mean, it's just like you can't turn around from that now. In as much as you might have the hockey trade that would knock the league on its ear, if you traded Swayman instead of Ullmark, you might be able to change the course of your club over the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. I'm fairly certain the Bruins are believe that their team is closer than I do, for instance, and think that this situation is we go with Swayman, we go with the D we got, and we accent our offense. We get another centerman. Obviously, DeBrusk going to market, so if he signs with the Bruins, I'll be shocked. I think that he's going to be on a July 1st free agency signings, and and they'll be somewhere else. And the Bruins need help up front. And I just hope they take the opportunity to accent their team to be more like the Florida Panthers. I know it's a copycat league, and the copycats never win, but I do know why the Bruins don't win, and it's because they don't forecheck with the ferocity that the Florida Panthers, for example. And there's nothing new about that. It's what it takes, and they don't have it. They get a little closer to having it every year. They still don't have it. This is a big opportunity with them with a lot of money under the cap finally for them to go out and get the players that are going to make their team able to inflict on opposing defensemen what other teams do to the Bruins defensemen, particularly they target Charlie McAvoy. And and the Bruins need to be able to. I think sometimes the only defense is offense, and in this case, I think that is the case because you can't play the whole game in your own end and take that kind of a beating that much and win. You just don't. It doesn't work out that way. History tells us this. It's not my opinion. No, so we'll see what happens.
And the other part of it too, real quick, is that sometimes we've talked about it a million times. They need to be more selfish sometimes, and I mean shoot the damn puck. They always try for the extra pass. Particularly it comes around in the postseason. I see it far too often. It's like, just shoot the puck. Just shoot the puck on net when you have how many
Yeah.
see around the face.
Tim Montgomery is a puck possession guy. He likes the short pass game. He likes the a lot of little movement and it works well for them on the first 3/4 of the ice most of the time. It doesn't work well for them when they're in those situations where it needs to be intuitive. If it's a second thought, your window's gone. It's closed. Then you come back and you make a bad shot later because you're trying to make up for what you didn't do when you should have. So, yeah, I agree with you about that. It would be nice to see them fix that.
Finally, Rick says on the text line, listening to Mick makes me think he might make a good Flyers coach. Any interest, Mick?
I'm really amazed that they didn't go get Craig Berube. And I enjoy Tortorella. I really do like Tortorella. I love when I get a chance to talk to that guy.
Who doesn't?
Maybe Larry Brooks. But yeah, Torts. They're sticking with it. Berube got his job. It'll be elsewhere. But I do think that I thought that he would have been perfect to take them a lot to the next point here, because it seemed to me like there might have been a little demoralizing on the part of the Flyers when they were in the crunch. The wheels came off of their team, and I think they're young players. And Tortorella said a lot of things in the media about that, and I don't think he was wrong about anything he did. I just think sometimes this is the thing about professional sports. A lot of times there's a guy who takes you, who's going to be your Moses. He's not going to go with you to the promised land. He's going to be the guy who gets you to the precipice of it.
Yes. And then there's locusts and earthquakes and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Mick, you the man.
You don't want to piss off the big man upstairs.
Jerry from Rhode Island said, "An hour with Mick is effing awesome."
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's hilarious, and
Jerry's a big fisherman out in up in Point Judith, I think, in Narragansett.
No kidding. Oh, that's pretty awesome. I haven't been down there I haven't been down the line in a long time.
Wow.
And but those were the days in the '90s, back when they had Charlie O's and.
Charlie O's is not there anymore, though. I did see the manager. I did see Charlie himself at Georgia's of Galilee when I went back for my little mini high school reunion. Yeah. And, God, we had a lot of good times there. Jesus.
That's great that you got there with those guys. That's awesome, Pete.
That was. All right, my friend. All the best. And I want to talk to you next. What's a good day to you next week? Obviously not Friday.
Well, you usually shoot for me. Well, you obviously shoot for me early in the week, and that's generally not good for me.
How about Thursday?
We're talking about this on the air. This is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, how about Thursday?
Actually, next week I'm going to be in Vegas on Thursday, but I will have a noontime. Noontime Vegas is
9:05. 9:05 Eastern time.
That would probably be okay because 9:05 Eastern would be 6 a.m. Vegas. No, I ain't getting up that early.
How about 9:30? Well, like 9:30, 6:30.
6:30. Yeah. I don't know. I think we should probably.
What about Wednesday?
Wednesday we can talk.
Okay.
We'll have the Stanley Cup to talk about because it'll be over by Monday at the latest. So why don't we talk on Wednesday?
Okay, Wednesday or Tuesday.
I'm putting it in my phone, Pete.
All right, Wednesday at what time? Good for you.
Well, this wasn't bad. This worked out
8:30.
So we're talking about
9:05 on Thursday.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. I'll have my people call your people. 9:05 a.m. on Thursday. All right, buddy. We'll talk
Thursday? No, Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
You're switching me to Vegas time here. Those are 3 hours I'm not going to get back. These are long flights.
Yes, I know. A couple of movies.
I bought extra leg room.
What airline you taking?
JB.
Oh, JetBlue. Oh, good. Direct flight?
Nonstop.
Oh, God. We have Breeze Airlines here in Fort Myers. They're the only ones that go direct to Vegas.
What is it called?
Breeze. It's a fairly new airline, but it's pretty good.
From
Really?
Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Jeff Bezos wanted to buy JetBlue, and in order to be able to compete with everyone else, and they told him, nope, forget about it. So he decided to start Breeze. It's actually really nice.
It is nice.
You can actually buy the So the way
They have TVs, right? Right? They have TVs on the.
Do they fly out? So
yeah.
they fly out of RSW?
Yeah, direct to Vegas.
Wow. Do they go to Boston?
From Tampa they do.
From Tampa they do. No, I don't believe they do.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to look into this. New opportunities. Sometimes it takes a new airline to stir the drink and get everybody to be a little reasonable with their fares.
Well, that's good. Well, you'll have plenty of movies and plenty of direct TV to watch, so you'll be all set. Because I can't sleep on planes, and I need at least 3 movies for flights like that.
3 movies. Wow.
I don't read.
I don't know. When I flew at 2013, I went to visit my cousins in central Italy, and I just got a nice port seat on the window, and looked at the sun setting, and watched it rise, and just basically zoned out, and it was a fun experience.
Yeah, I like the window seat, not because of the view or anything like that, which is fine, but I don't get up to go to the bathroom a lot. I mean, one of my Avenger powers is my bladder. So if I'm having a couple of cocktails or whatever, 3 or 7 on the flight, if it's long, then I don't get up and go to the bathroom. And so I like the window seat because of that, because I never have to get up till the very end.
I'm pretty close to, I've been, knock on wood, I've been pretty close to your situation, although I'm now surrounded by friends that anytime we go anywhere, the first thing they want to know is where are the bathrooms. And I'm at that age, I'm getting up there. So.
All right, buddy. Have a great and the rest of your weekend, and have a ball. We'll talk next Wednesday at 9:05.
Stay hydrated.
Yes. Always. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mick.
Congratulations, Angel. That's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, you know what? That's going to do it. I don't know how. Thanks, Mick. You're the best. Somehow, some way, we pulled it off. You're a genius once again. You pulled it off. Mick doing the Walpole white man overbite. Hey, well, now he's What is Love by Ottawa. All right, that's going to do it. Angel, thanks so much. Have a great weekend, everybody, and have safe travels back to Tampa. Angel with Deb. We're going to see you guys tomorrow, but we'll. Rick says, great walk-off, guys. Thank you. Yeah, this was, you talk about pulling the show out of your cookies. This was one of them. Anyway, great stuff. Thanks to Mick Calagio and Angel, you're the man. And congratulations once again to you and Debbie. We're going to see you guys tomorrow and break bread and wine together.
Something.
Yes. All right, well, have a great every weekend. We'll be back Monday at 7 a.m. Jesus. 7 a.m. I'm on Vegas time now. 7 a.m. You'll be back in Tampa. Hopefully everything will be working and won't have to have a connection like it did. Anyway, it all worked out. Ended up being a real good show. Thanks everybody for staying with us, hanging in. Have a great and safe rest of your weekend, everybody. We'll talk Monday at 7 a.m. Bye. Bye. Sometimes the impromptu stuff.